how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you undetected.
Random, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I, too, am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. Lashana Tova, all of you sexy viewers. Lashana Tova, tonight is indeed the mark of the Jewish New Year, and you won't believe it. No, not just that I'm going to temple tonight, okay? Maybe it's the Charlie Kirk effect, I think so. But yes, your good little Jewish girl here is also going to start the show tonight with a quote by none other than the most Jew-loving man that I can think of, Kanye West. You know, that's what happens here in free thinking territory. What can I say? So Kanye said, I just tell the truth, and telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. And I mean, that's what's so interesting about truth, right? Because everyone has their own version of truth. But as batshit as I think Kanye can be sometimes, I really love this quote, and it is so true. And lately, similarly with all of you guys, we have just had this reckoning. And I've been really doing a lot of soul searching about my platform, what I've been fighting for 10 years, you know, this, all of it. And I kind of noticed a common thread, which was, you know, cutting through the bullshit and telling the truth. And I thought, why is it that telling the truth is so rare? I really thought that. I'm like, is it because we feel safe? We almost like being lied to? Like Kanye, for all his faults, he's right. And there have been, I'm sure, so many philosophers and people in the past who've gotten to this idea. Like, why is it that truth is so rare and taboo and excites us? Like, what is that? You know, so it's something that I'm really thinking about. And again, how to amplify this message even more and create more of a community with it, like Charlie Kirk did. I mean, everything I've watched and what he built was so remarkable on his back with a mission. And I even saw, he said, I don't care what I get, I care what I give. Like, he was so selfless in it. And I think that's why people are so moved, especially young people. And I think, guys, something about this platform that is so special, you know, here at the Talk to Me Taylor propaganda machine, is the truth in, I'll be real, not fitting in a box of either one of the political masses, the sides, so to speak, right? Even as a woman, tits out, brain out. And I've been thinking a lot lately, and hey, John Legend, he said all those celebs in the intro, and Wendy gets me most excited. John Legend, I know, I'm going to try to bring more celebrities on, but I just did a whole thing today, like roasting them about basically doing a shrine and like making Jimmy Kimmel a martyr and not even saying a peep about Charlie Kirk, who was murdered in cold blood in front of our eyes. Like, so I don't know about that. You'll see. You'll have to go on my social medias and watch it. But yeah, even that, right? Like, not fitting in a box. Take the celebrity thing, John Legend. And I even say in that video, I'm like, do you guys have moral rot? Like, are you okay? And at the same time, being fascinated by them and getting into their psyches of people who are so artsy and creative and who have such influence in our cultural tastemakers, you know? So all of that to say, I've been thinking a lot lately about what do I do to amplify the message, expand this platform, you know, be a Charlie Kirk in a way and create that community. And I'll be real with you. It's like nothing feels authentic. I was literally like contemplating, I'm just thinking out loud here. I was thinking like, do I join a Turning Point chapter and then break out? Like, but then I'm like, that literally feels so fake. Like, I so respect what Charlie Kirk, what he did, what he built, Erica Kirk, but it's just not me. I just don't totally align with those values. You know, the left, forget it. They're like a lost cause, like somewhere in the Perfect Storm movie with George Clooney, like in the Bermuda Triangle. And, you know, there was a part of me that was like, is it sort of a thing where it's like, well, if you can't beat them, join them? You know, Elon Musk got mocked into oblivion by the idea of even starting like a third party populist libertarian movement, right? It's sort of like you have to join these two pre-existing beasts or it's a lost, like get lost. And even Trump, I thought about it, like he's such a bull in a china shop. And even he can't beat him, join him. Like he was never historically a Republican, became a Republican, and now basically is running the world, right? Like he even did that. And so I feel really, and what we're going to get to today is going to be very fun, pop culture adjacent, identity politics, womanhood examples of this. And you know, so I feel a little bit lost in the sauce, but also so clear because I'm like, I do not fit in either of these boxes. And I know that so many of you guys don't either. And I don't want to allow these two groups of the biggest megaphones to speak for us. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to these examples. And I feel like it's just like common sense. And I see the people on both sides just placating and giving lip service and all this. And I wonder half the time, like, do you even believe it? And it's why on Talk to Me Taylor, like, why I can have lefty progressive women and MAGA conservative women be like, tits out, brain out, right? That's sort of like, okay, like, I don't want to say common ground. That's so kumbaya, but, and like Girl Scouts, but you know, you get it. So these are all just things I'm thinking of. And now that I made you like my Princess Diaries here in Genovia, let's get to it. So where do I want to start here? Do I want to start with the Teen Vogue Summit, which was the complete opposites, but it's perfectly illustrates the point, right? Of the TPUSA and Erica Kirk and what they're saying about how like Charlie Kirk saved young men, what she'll do for young women and what she represents and embodies like the trad wife. Why don't we start with that? And then we'll get into the Teen Vogue of it all. Or again, I think many, like most of us guys will be like, that's fair, like somewhere in the middle. So, you know, even why I felt like something like a turning point just doesn't feel organic or authentic to me. You know, I came away last night after the memorial. And by the way, I was literally like just not okay the whole day. Like I just sat in my car watching it and crying. Like there were definitely people like, ma'am, are you well? Like, do you need a straitjacket? Just so sad. But specifically what came out of the conversation. And by the way, in the end, this is all going to come back to Erica Kirk. Don't worry, because what she did was so just stunning and monumental. I won't overlook that. But something that's really coming out of this is the idea of restoring, because like feminists have gone so hard and like burning their bras and not shaving their armpits or their leg hair and like blaming men for everything, that now she's really looked at as the pillar of restoring kind of like trad wife values, right? Like, again, I love what she said, like, we're not your slave, we're not your servant, you know, we're your helper, your equal, for lack of a better word. Like we just have different roles. And again, common sense. Like I've always been a fan of traditional gender roles, but with a modern twist too, you know, like me personally, I never saw myself as a Susie homemaker. My passion is what, you know, gets me out of bed in the morning. That's not to say that I don't have a huge dream of having a family and making a beautiful home as well, right? But for the most part, and I'm sure many of you guys relate, that really confined box of like the trad wife thing, it just doesn't feel authentic to me. And it just doesn't ring true to me. And I said yesterday after the memorial, I was like, I feel like there are so many women and guys too out there who just don't feel accounted for right now. You know, so that's that on the turning point situation where, you know, and I get it, like there's always a swing to the swang, and that's where it's going right now. I don't even know if that's a word, I made it up, but you get it. So, you know, it'll be seen. Look, I don't think that these things could hurt. I think that women definitely are a little bit lost and could use some like structure and normalcy in all this, but you know, I don't know. Yeah. Then it gets into like the Harrison Butker territory where it's like, you know, it's women's highest calling to be a wife and a mother and all this. Look, like, you know, I don't personally fall all in on that box. Is all I'm saying. So on the flip side of it, is Teen Vogue. Okay. I know you're thinking like, Taylor, what? We're on the Goxie Network. Like, what do I give two shits about Teen Vogue? You're going to give two shits about Teen Vogue. You're going to give two shits whether you like it or not. No, you're going to give two shits about Teen Vogue because, look, Charlie Kirk was so huge. Hundreds of thousands of people came out for him because he impacted young people. And I saw a tweet that I can't get out of my head, and it said, what current political figure would bring out this many young people? And I was like, that is so true, right? Like maybe Trump, but even still, like JD Vance, AOC, anyone on the, like Kamala, they wouldn't hold a candle. Like it's crazy to think that, but he touched young people. And we're always hearing these talking points from the right. Even Trump couldn't help himself in his thing being like the radical left lunatics, da, 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 da. But they're often like parroting and mocking these left ideas of like feminism gone too far and women who have lost their minds and who are over-sexualized and non-binary furry and whatever, all this shit. And this is where it stems from. It's from the Teen Vogue. Solely the epicenter for the rapture is the Teen Vogue Summit. So as most things, what can I say? Like Nostradamus, I saw the writing on the wall because I covered the Teen Vogue Summit. And guys, okay, I don't know if I want to tell you my Hillary Clinton story now or at the end. Maybe I'll make you wait for it. Maybe I will make you wait. I covered it in 2017, I believe, 2016. So I didn't know any better back then, guys. Okay, we all evolve and change. I'll come back to it. But I will say this. I remember at the time, I was like, maybe I'm just off of like putting the teen and Teen Vogue because, there's regular Vogue. So I was like, how old are these people? Like, are they like, do they have braces with rubber bands that are colored on them and like playing with Bart? Like teen, like, are we talking 13? Are we talking 18? Either way, I was at this summit in LA and I was like, what do like trans lives matter and Black lives matter pins and all this shit have any business being at a Teen Vogue summit? Like when I was a teenager we can joke about it, but it honestly made me really sad because I was like, these kids are literally straight up robbed like a thief in the night from their childhood. And they can't even enjoy like my biggest concern was literally going out to get milk with my driver's permit. Like it was the best thing ever. And like who I was going to get and spin the bottle that night. I mean, literally. And it's like, I remember at the time just being so sad. And I was almost like, shame on Teen Vogue. Like, again, I'm not trying to shield them, but it's Teen Vogue. Like save it at least for Vogue. Anna Wintour loves that shit. Like, loves that virtue signaling crap. Like save it for that. Like why do you have to push this on the teens, right? But I don't know, maybe I'm just naive to it. I did look today that the current, at least, Teen Vogue audience is like 17 to mid or late 20s. I don't know if that math is mathing, but either way, I thought that at the time. And so you cut to today, and here are just 3 of the stories from it that stood out for me because yes, my inbox still gets these press releases, okay? Whether I like it or not. John Legend, Brain Warp Media. Exactly. And like this right here, though, is where it starts. That's exactly what I'm saying. This is where it starts. So the first video that I saw is an interview with Cat's Eye, who I have sung about them from the rooftops. You guys know I really like them. They're the girl group who went viral in the Gap denim ad after Sydney Sweeney. And I just think that they are so hot, so talented. I think there are 6 of them and they come from all different, like they're different like ethnicities, colors, and they're so talented. And at first, and I wrote about this on my Substack, I was like, I love this, especially in contrast with the Sydney Sweeney thing. Again, because I can think freely and have thoughts up there that work. I thought the Sydney Sweeney ad was cheesy, being like, she has great genes, like blonde and blue-eyed and hot. Where I was like, with these women, like, they're so talented. They're such good dancers, like so sexy, feminine, sick. Like we saw it. Like we saw them reinstate the iconic Gap choreography. We didn't need them to then be like, see, there's an Indian girl and an Asian girl. It's like we saw it and that's a flex. And like, it does the job. Like, bravo. I love it, So I just love it. I watch them closely now and I like their music and even how they dress provocatively and own their sexuality. Like, I'm here for it. So I watched their panel, okay? And you would think that these bitches like just found the cure for cancer, because there's like 2 or 3 of them on the panel talking about coming out as bi, as queer, as this, as that. And the moderator is like, you know, so this is so insensitive. I was gonna be like, who also kind of looks like a DEI hire, no offense. But she's like, yeah, give it up for them guys. Like literally, you would think that they were the secret to the big autism reveal that Trump and RFK Jr. teased. Like, and I thought, like, literally, you would think they were Mick Jagger, like rock stars, like, yeah, like the like roaring applause and the kids screaming. And I just was like, again, I mean, kids say the darndest things, and I'm not knocking it. It's just so bizarre. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm, again, naive, but I don't remember it being like this. No, it definitely was not like this when I was a kid, because like Lance Bass was closeted so hard and in sync, and Ricky Martin. So I'm not saying they should be closeted by any means. Of course not. I want everybody to live their truth. It may get a little dicey with the furry sitch. It depends on to what end. No, but I just thought, like, not their accolades. Again, let us see it. It's like the Madonna, like a virgin, like put it on the stage, put out the art, but it becomes where it's this like noble badge of honor, as if earning your stripes. Like, I know, like a pageant girl, like I am queer. And, they say, like, to their credit, they're like, it helped a lot of confused girls be able to come out. It's just, I don't know. There's something Charlie Kirk said, because I have been watching his shit like an almanac, you wouldn't even believe. And he does say, like, I don't think that we necessarily have to lead our identities with our sexual orientation. Like, it's kind of weird. It's like, I'm Taylor and I'm homosexual. It's sort of like, why is that this like badge of honor? I don't know. So I just was like, how indicative. John Legend, I'm going to get to some of your stuff. PSYOP, another PSYOP. PSYOPs. It's like Oprah. You get a PSYOP. You get a PSYOP. You know who I have to have on the show is my friend Sam Arms, who's a political strategist, and you would love him. He's all about the PSYOP, all about the PSYOP life. Yeah, social recognition. So that was one. Okay, then we see Vivian Wilson, who is Elon Musk's very outspoken trans daughter. And again, it's just like, these are such heavy topics because they're talking about trans shooters. And again, this is a Teen Vogue summit. Like, these are such heavy and complicated topics to be unraveled. And I don't know, they're just throwing these things out there for these kind of like clickbaity viral sound bites. But basically, she's, and the headline too in Teen Vogue is like, Vivian Wilson like debunks the trans shooter. Because we have been seeing that have gotten national attention shootings carried out by trans people. And again, I think it's dangerous. I'm not a fan of what the right does, being like, they are all mentally ill and not okay. Like, I don't believe that. It's like any group of people. Are there some white people who are mentally ill? Are there some black people who are mentally ill? Are there some, like, of course, but I think to put the blanket statement over all of them isn't okay. But on the other end of it now, this is like the extremes. I just am not about it. Like, you have Vivian Wilson, who's basically a kid, and she's like, I'm not a shooter. I'm just a model. Like, look at my like flabby arms. Like, this is going to hurt somebody. And they're all joking. And even the adult woman moderator, who's like, oh no, I'm sorry. It was someone on the panel who is like, yeah, those lanky arms, da, 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 da. And so I just thought, I don't know, to take such a heavy, polarizing and political topic and to just give it in a soundbite to a young trans model with an axe to grind against her very famous dad. I don't know. I'm just like, again, like, why is this happening at this place and this time? Like, this is the kind of stuff, though, that I'm talking about. And it is something to be looked at again. Like, this may be a factor in the Charlie Kirk shooting. So it's like, when you see a pattern, it's okay to be like, wait, like, what is going on here? And again, like, the fact that people wrote off the trans debate, but it's crazy how, because it is such a micro portion of the population, but you look at like the JK Rowlings, like how people in the UK are being punished. Like, it's become such a I don't know, hotbed for issues that, I don't know. So yeah. Thanks Teen Vogue for like literally putting my brain on the fucking in the jungle gym. So yeah, it's crazy how it's come this far basically and has become such an issue, even though it affects like such a small portion of the population, right? The last one, so I feel like we're hitting kind of all the things here. Leave it to Teen Vogue. We got the bi queer girls from Cat's Eye. We got the trans model talking about trans shooters, like, okay, casual. And lastly, we have and I'm not saying this to be mean by any means, it's just like fact, but the morbidly obese, I think she's a singer and actress, Tess Holliday. And I want to preface this by saying I actually interviewed her. Maybe she is a singer because I think I interviewed her at the Grammys. And she was such a lovely person and was such a sweet person. She had this strawberry dress on. Like, if you want to fact check me, Tess, maybe she's a model. I don't even know. Either way, we're not even talking like Ashley Graham curvy plus size. We're talking like very large. And like 2 airplane seats large, literally. Again, this is just, call me Cardi B in church. It's just like what I'm in a court. I'm sorry. It's like what I'm seeing. And she was interviewed here. And again, I'm like, okay, is this actually serving young girls? Is this just, again, feeding them with this thing that, whether it's like being bought, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. If it's being trans, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, again, as if they're these like medals of honor. And she talks about her weight in the Ozempic phase. And she goes on to say, like, it's just, I am who I am. Like, let me live, that kind of thing. Like, I've never fit to a beauty standard, right? And, again, this is where it's like, it just, in my opinion, it just goes way too far. Like, and I'm sure similarly with you guys, have had people close to me in my life who, once they gain a lot of weight, it is bad news bears. Like, it is not, John Legend. Yeah, it's okay. It's Vogue. It's Vogue, all in the name of Vogue, right? Come on, Vogue. I don't know if Madonna was envisioning this, but here we are. But I know people who have had to use these drugs and who have issues, and I don't know. So it's not fun and it's not pretty. And it's not like, I understand going against a standard. Hello, I do it every day with tits out, brain out. It's like, no, we're told day after day since the beginning of time, you have to be one or the other. So I get it. I get it, Tess Holliday. I get it being like, fuck you, I'm not going to be in a box. But is it actually helping not only yourself, but the women you're talking to, and glorifying it in this way? I'm just like, what is like happening? It's almost like all these things, it's like a caricature. So all roads lead to and from the Talk to Me Taylor show. So I will then now bring you my Hillary Clinton story. And again, like, this was, I don't know, again, 8 years ago. So you can kind of like see the breadcrumbs, and I should have seen at the time. And I actually did see at the time where it was going and how it would lead to now. So you guys know, and I've talked at length about the different entertainment outlets that I had worked for and how they would control a narrative. And sure, it may not have been things sometimes as outward as like election fraud or COVID or whatever it is. YouTube's going to love me for this as usual. But it was things like this that really underlie the zeitgeist and the cultural conversation. And again, even why Charlie Kirk on campuses was talking about marriage and roles of men and women and how we interact in the dynamics. Like, it's there, right? Again, even if it's not these big, heavy political topics, this is the kind of stuff I was writing about, even in pop culture. So one of the outlets that I worked for was Bustle. And they were very like this kind of, remember the Charlize Theron story I told you guys on Friday? Okay, that was with Bustle. Like, this pushing this narrative of like, women need to rise up and like all that kind of shit. And meanwhile, I'm like, being a woman's fucking awesome. Like, let's go. Like, hear me roar. Let's celebrate. Like, we got a little ways to go, but like, we're so far. But like, nope, squashed, Sasquatch. Might as well sat on it. Like, we're forever victims. So I came across this story that when I covered the Teen Vogue Summit, Hillary Clinton spoke. And of course, she was like trashing Trump and calling him a big bully and all this. But this is a great example of when, because there was a point where it was kind of out of your control, right? Say you were covering, like you didn't have one-on-one time with somebody, you were covering like a big conference or an event. You had to give them the transcript and they would say like, okay, we want a story about this. So on the internet lies a bustle piece about Hillary Clinton by Taylor Ferber. And I was like, I was reading it today and I was like, I can't even believe that this is the kind of shit I did for a paycheck, right? But basically the whole story talked about how her advice for how women aren't allowed to show their full range of feelings in a workplace, but men are, and how to like rise up against it, and even if it's in a meeting and all these little things. But the worst part of it was there was literally a line that I wrote that was like, women have to, it was so good for women to hear this, like nodding on long in the crowd to like rise up against this kind of suppression or something. I was like, oh my God, bitch. I'm sorry, no $25 an hour was worth that. I'm sure I was like full blown cringe at the time, but that's exactly where, not like that moment, but that's how it starts and snowballs into what it is now. I even did a little brushing up this morning on the different waves of feminism. And that's the other thing. It's gotten so crazy. I'm like, I don't think the women who were fighting for basic rights like voting and property and education and work would now cut to the arguably fourth wave where they're like, okay, inclusion of this, that, someone who identifies as a book, somebody who is a tree. Like, what are we, like, it all just gets so, and it all stems from this idea, even what Hillary Clinton said of like, or I said, unfortunately, but the idea of like being suppressed. And it's like, no, we will rise above, go against the man. But now it's like all these things, it's like, to what end? So before we get to the finale of Erica Kirk and her display, I want to name just quick 3 examples of women who I actually thought were, again, like normal. It's okay. I'm sure that both sides in some way or shape or form would try to politicize them with their ass backwards lens that literally are arbitrary and make no sense. But these are 3 current ones. And I was like, okay. Each of these are like, that's fair. Like, when it comes to like women empowerment and a message for women. One is Miss America, who I think she was from New York, but basically she got a lot of shit, I guess, for wearing too much makeup, which again, like literally who cares? And she came out and said like why this is even a news story. It was crazy. But she came out and said, just again about feeling empowered and empowered in her own way. And like, that's my message. Like, what does it matter if I'm wearing, like how much makeup I'm wearing or not? Like literally, what does that have anything to do with your life? It kind of reminds me of like when really hot female athletes wear makeup to like, they could be like car drivers, they could be like any kind of athlete, and they argue like, what, because I'm wearing makeup, I can't completely excel and kick total ass at my sport. Like, I love that. And it's basically her thing of like, it's my idea of empowerment, and my mission is to empower other women and how they feel strongest, like step off, basically. I was like, that's fair. John Legend, absolutely. They let it all get it in the way of women empowerment, 100%. And I'm really hoping to be a voice for women on the left, right, up, down. I really don't care. The upside down, for all I care, of what real empowerment is. Like, not this shit, on either side. Or these boxes, I should say, on either side that are really constricting and restricting, I would say. Okay, the other one, this is a little like provocative, but this is interesting. There was a Harry Potter star. Her name is Jessie Cave. And she was basically kicked out of a like Harry Potter event convention, speaking with a cast, something, because she decided to launch an OnlyFans. And I thought that was really fucked up because she full blown owns it. It's not even this like hardcore porn, like spread eagle on the bed. Even if it was, it's not even that. She says she kind of like plays with her hair and does all these things. And further, she explains why she did it. She was like straight up like, I need to get myself out of debt. And B, I thought this was interesting, like kind of like the Miss America thing. She was like, I almost like I was never kind of a sexual being, and I almost wanted to prove to myself that I could do it and kind of like love myself in that way. And that idea of like self-love. And I was like, that's really interesting. Now I know the right would take that and absolutely melt down of like, what a whore she is and like needs like Jesus. But again, it's like I don't know. I just find issues with how both sides like limit and define women's sexuality. It's like, and the thing about it is like she was totally transparent and owned it, which I like too. Um, so like go for it, and that is like fucked up. The Harry Potter thing, that's all fucked up though. Look what they've done to JK Rowling, my girl. John Legend said framed arguments, it. Are you talking, John Legend, about the feminists gone crazy, gone cray cray? Lastly is my favorite example before we go here. I believe it was yesterday or over the weekend was the 91st birthday of, media female sex symbol icon, Italian actress Sophia Loren. And this is what I'm talking about right here. She was such a bombshell. She oozed sexuality and sensuality on and off screen, and she knew it. But what was so great about Sophia Loren is how she almost like took what you would call like the male gaze or objectifying and like, I don't want to say weaponized it, but used it in her toolkit to also at the same time use her very, very sharp, intellect, wit, sort of self-awareness, right? Like almost like a Cleopatra thing going on. And I just love that. I'm like, that's what it is. That is what it is. That's what I'm talking about. And it's like for people on both sides, if you can't even like acknowledge that, yeah, that has lost the plot, in my opinion. Again, like autonomy and all of it and power, right? And lastly, I am going to bring it back to Erica Kirk because, we can talk about like the sexuality and the male female dynamics and all this all day long. But I'm sorry, what she displayed was nothing short of straight up the stuff of history books and monumental. The fact that in front of not only tens of thousands of people there, but millions of people around the world watching, was she able to get on that stage, detail, not only watching, but seeing her up close and personal, the love of her life. And it's no doubt they were so in love, these two, and how like they did everything as a team and for one another. Like that, I will admit, is absolute goals for sure. And seeing him dead and seeing where the bullet hit him and all that, thinking about their 2 babies under 3. And you could tell he worshiped them so much. It's just like, if you don't feel something watching some of that footage, like, honestly, who will save your soul? Like, call Jewel because you're in trouble. And for her to go on the stage and say to the young man who broke her entire existence and life and took this, again, I don't care how you feel about Charlie Kirk, this force with a vision and who is so selfless, right, out of the world, and say, I forgive you. I forgive you. It's what Charlie would have done. It's what we're taught in Christianity, what Jesus did, like to forgive him. And I even thought, like, when she goes home at night, when she's in her bed alone, will she really feel that? I don't know. I think she has such a deep faith as Charlie did, which is why so many people are so moved. I think she honestly feels it and believes it. And so what I want to leave everybody with tonight, it is Jewish New Year. I am off to temple, to synagogue services to be a nice little Jewish girl, is really that for women, for men. Like that is, again, politics aside, identity politics aside, the Teen Vogue summit aside. Like as a woman and for women and for men, that right there, I have chills, is the ultimate power and strength. That regardless, again, about how you feel about any of this stuff, marriage, sex, anything, That to me is like the best virtue that you can have. And hopefully you will embody more into this new Jewish New Year and beyond. Lashana Tova, everybody. I love you, and I will see you all tomorrow night. Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you on the tip.
Random, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around? Messing around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to